What's up, y'all? It's your boy Marcel P. Black checking in. Last week I asked everybody what's their favorite song off of Black Love. I heard a lot of different answers. Niggas of Capitán got a lot of love. Comanche M got a lot of love. Mr. Williams got a lot of love. Pump Up the Volume got a lot of love. My favorite song on the album is the title track, Black Love. In fact, I feel like Black Love might be the greatest song I ever created. If you give it some time, I'm gonna tell you why. So the way Black Love came about is I was riding in the car. I had my R&B playlist going on, and D'Angelo's Lady comes on. And there's maybe almost a 90-second drum break. Not drum break, but like a break in the song where just instrumental, no singing or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Showing off D'Angelo's musicianship. And so I screenshot it and I send Jovan the beat, and I tell him I want to rap over this part. So another part of this, there's another song that was supposed to go on the album that was D'Angelo production. So for some reason, D'Angelo was just like in my spirit, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, but we didn't use that beat. You're gonna hear it on the next project. A few days later, Jovan sends me back a rough version of the beat. That evening, D'Angelo passes away. God bless his soul. So I'm like, man, I don't want to be that type of rapper, you know what I'm saying? But something was just speaking to me about it, right? And so I'm just playing the beat on loop, and something started speaking to me. So we always call hip hop her, right? We call hip hop her, you know what I'm saying? Because of Common. And of course I'm talking about hip hop on Black Love, but I wanted to expand it beyond just hip hop and rap, right? And so, you know, on the project I'm sampling several different types of black music, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted to kind of like culminate that in one track, you know what I'm saying? And so we going above hip hop being her. We're calling black music God's music, right? So that's where you get Black Love, you know what I'm saying? My love letter to everything that makes me black, you know what I'm saying? Artistically, right? My love letter to everything that makes me black. So now I got the beat playing in the back of my head, and I'm like, black music is God's music. I can't speak for you, but that's the reason I do it. Son of a gospel singer, grew up in the church when my daddy's music spoke to the pain and the hurt and the joy and the love, catharsis for the downtrodden. Make you catch the Holy Ghost or dance out all your problems. It's like I'm speaking in tongues whenever sound bombing, and sisters talking through me when I grab the mic. So if you watch any of the Black Love stories, or you just know me, I'm a church kid. I grew up in the church. My father's a gospel musician, and I admired the way my father created art. You understand what I'm saying? And just like to watch something that he created in our den, you know what I'm saying, and recorded it in our house, and watch it perform it, and, you know what I'm saying, see the way people reacted to it. My dad was a quartet singer, so he wasn't a belter, he wasn't a hollerer, you know what I'm saying? But he was, you know, he had a very, very smooth voice. But to watch his words tap into something with people and watch it resonate. So sometimes they would start crying. Sometimes they would start shouting. Sometimes they would, you know what I'm saying, pass out. Sometimes, you know, they would just have emotional reactions. I remember the way people would come to him after he performed and sang at a church, at a community center, at a program, as he called them. And the things they were like, hey, your music really changed my life. You know, it really spoke to me. That's the reason I do it, you know what I'm saying? That's why I chose ultimately being a conscious hip hop artist. Even though I'm not a gospel artist, I wanted to say something that reached out and touched people. So most of these people in the church are older people or at church programs, right? As a hip hop artist, as a person who's a youth development worker, I'm in the hood, and I wanted to make music that reaches out and touches people on a deeper level. And then I say, see, on the plantation, music was our first right, harmonizing in the fields from morning to the night. But little did they know this how we communicate, how we's gonna burn the house down and either run away. My music's an extension of that legacy. Every single rhyme written about us getting free. That's why I pray before I step up in the booth, because the black woman is God and her music is the proof. So I remember when I was working in Baton Rouge, there was a documentary that I was watching with some of my students, and it was about like the history of gospel choirs and the importance of gospel choirs, and trying to like really cultivate black gospel choirs amongst teenagers, you know what I'm saying, specifically in the hood. And the choir director, he was an academic guy. He had his PhD in music and things of that nature, and he presented, you know what I'm saying, that the first right on the plantation that enslaved Africans had during the peculiar institution of chattel slavery was to sing. was to sing, right? Couldn't do nothing else, but you were able to harmonize to keep the day going. You know what I'm saying? To, you know, I guess that was like, hey, they could be rebelling, but they singing instead. And so what we did, you know what I'm saying, in those cotton fields, on those plantations, doing this backbreaking labor was, you know what I'm saying, we're mixing our, I guess you could say, native African intuitions to communicate using English words. You know what I'm saying? And we communicate through different vowel sounds, different moans and grunts and different words. And we were using metaphor and simile and, you know what I'm saying, all these different literary devices in our music to where these white supremacists, you know what I'm saying, slave owners and whatever, overseers, they didn't think that we was intelligent enough to use this type of language to communicate with each other. And so they think we talk about wade in the water. We really talk about how we're gonna run away, right? We really talk about going Nat Turner. We really talk about going Harriet Tubman. We really talk about going Gabriel Prosser. You understand what I'm saying? We really talk about going Denmark Vesey. So it sounds like a church hymn to you because we singing and we harmonizing, we saying Lord, 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 but really it's war cries, you know what I'm saying? Just in our, you know what I'm saying, black tongue, African tongue on the plantation, right? And so for me as a hip hop artist, my hip hop comes from that tradition. My music's an extension of that legacy. Every single rhyme written about is getting free. That's why I pray before I get up in the booth, because the black woman is God and the music is the proof. That's Black Love. I'm gonna come back, part 2, part 3, breaking down Black Love and why I think it's my greatest song ever. If you have not heard the song, you can go to marcelpblack.bandcamp.com. You can stream it, you know what I'm saying, if you ain't trying to pay. But please buy it, you know what I'm saying, marcelpblack.bandcamp.com. You can buy the digital copy and you can buy the CD. If you just want to stream it, Apple Music, Tidal, Spotify, YouTube, it's all up, you know what I'm saying. Shout out to everybody who's already supported. I'm hitting the road real soon. Hopefully you can hear this stuff in person. Allah Mahabi, freedom.
Jay Philly produced this.
Yo, come on. Black music is God's music. I can speak for you, but that's the reason.